Welcome to Win or Lose. Yeah, the world's gone a bit crazy. uh, Myself, like everyone, stuck indoors. We're not allowed to meet up with each other, so that's the ability to meet up for a bit of wargaming has took a real swan dive. But I never called defeat. Today's video is about playing war games solo. So I haven't done much of it myself. I know but there's a lot of good rule sets out there. There's a lot. Some people actually that's their main way of playing. I'm much novice and absolutely new to this way of playing wargaming. So this is my thoughts and ideas. Okay, this is not like a hard guide. As I said, I'm far from an expert. Um, but yeah, this is my thoughts and ideas of how I can adapt my current gaming collection and the rule sets that I generally use to playing solo. So we shall begin. First and foremost, I've got to give some honourable mentions to some rule systems that have preset solo play put in them. Okay, as again, I don't. These are the ones that I know of. Okay, if you know of some more, please put in the comments below. Um, you know, more more things that we know about, the better. But yeah, so the ones that I know of and had some experience with are first off, Dead Zone by Mantic Games. They do a expansion called Nexus Sai, which since all this has kicked off, has become free to download. And the core rules for Dead Zone are free to download, so you can pick both up. I believe the Nexus Sai is all about like a zombie outbreak and contagion. Fit in. You need a gridded board. I think it's off the top of my head, it's 8 by 8 squares. Um, I'll put a caption if I want to do. I'll check that later. But if you haven't got anything like that, you can even just buy like if you've got some beer mats or like little dots just to grid something up. But that's where you go. So you've got the Nexus Sai expansion for Dead Zone. You've got a game called Iron Age by Alternative Armies. Um, yeah, it's a 15 mil sci-fi game. I think they also do a 25mm range actually, tell a lie as well, and that also has rules for solo play. Horizon Wars by Roby Jenkins. He later, if you've got the book from Osprey Games, I think he's also self-published a updated version of Horizon Wars. But you can. He's also added. He made a solo expansion for that game that's free to download on top of the main rules. I think he actually integrated it in the updated version. Uh, Sorry if you can hear the kids out back. As I say, they're all this school shut. Um, Lastly is the Walking Dead again by Mantic Games. That, to my knowledge, I'm not 100% on this one, but I'm pretty sure. I know it has got solo rules, or you can easily adapt it because the zombies work through an AI system, so there might be an odd scenario here, or you can easily figure it out. And also, I believe they've done that on half price as well with all this going on. So another good one there. So, preloaded games. The next one we're going to go into is how to adapt games. So I'm going to go over it, and then I'll make a demonstration, okay, of the various ideas. So the first idea is to add AI to your games, okay. What I mean by this is, I mean the obvious answer with solo gaming is you just play both armies, all right, which to me that's just, you're not getting the experience, are you? You're not fighting. You've got no stakes in it. Either way, you win. You're playing both armies. So what we want to actually, the idea is with my idea of solo gaming, is that we've got to have a challenge and you've got to have an adversary. Okay, for this to be fun. Okay, so we've got to simulate both of these things. So my idea is to add AI. Okay, so you basically when I'm going to demonstrate, so I'm going to demonstrate this with Kill Team, but it can easily be converted to 40k or any other war game system going. Okay, Even if it's I go, you go, or alternative actions, they should still work. Okay. And what you do is you put them into three categories. Okay. We could go into a fourth, but we'll do three. Okay. For now, which is assault, which is your melee guys, the guys that want to run in and wreck shop up close. Your front line, these are the guys that will move into an effective kill zone. Basically, they'll push up, lay down fire, and then would be making withdrawals and trying to keep you within this safe, optimal distance. And then you've got defense. These guys stay at the back and drop firepower down from afar. Um, yeah, so you basically take these ideas, and these will give you basically a list of rules of how they function. One moment. Sorry, kids playing up. Back into it. So yeah, you put it into the categories of assault, frontline, and defence, and these will dictate how they behave in any circumstance. So, like your front lines will be always pushing up. So the kind of rule of thumb is you push towards the nearest enemy model. They'll always be moving towards that enemy model, and then charge and assault when as soon as they possibly can. Your front lines again will push up to engage the enemy in their most optimized effective shooting. So if we take a space marine for instance, that is generally I know they've got the bolter discipline rule, but you know, like the rapid fire, it's a 15-inch like the intercessors, sorry, um, optimal range. Okay, so they want to hold that person in, and then when someone gets moves too close, they will kind of make a fighting withdrawal, so they keep that really good effective laying down of firepower. Okay, these are the guys that kind of holds your advance, so to speak. And then you've got the defensive guys. As I said, these guys will stay at the back, and you will categorize them into anti-infantry and anti-tank. And again, they will shoot the nearest and available target when they can. Okay, so they generally won't move. If they do, if they can't get, if there's like a turn that goes by, they will try and move into a better position, but they will be always trying to, as I said, stay within like say the 6 to 12 inch deployment zone area, and then just keep laying down firepower. Okay, so that's the idea. So the next idea is um, into hostile territory. So as again, I will go over these on more of a board setting, something a bit more visually interesting. The idea of this is you put your army down, but you don't put your adversary down. Okay, this actually will go off board on reserve, and you kind of use a collection rather than a predetermined list. Okay, and what you do is you make up a random table, d6 table that you roll on, and each option will be something from that pool of models that you've got. Okay, and the way it works is you're trying to get through from one end to the other of the board. Okay, or you can make this as like a last stand or whatever. But the idea is you've got to inflict a certain amount of kill points on your enemy. So depending on what game system you've used, that can either be points as in their points value, or power level if it's 40k, or VP scored if it's like infinity, you know. But something like that. Okay, you have to hit a target kill points, and then you've got to extract via an LZ. The LZ should always be on the other side of the board, within like the furthest, like if you think your deployment zone, so that's the back edge of the board, it's the furthest point of the deployment zone centre. That should be your LZ. Okay, so you've got to hit flicked amount of kill points on the enemy, and then get to that LZ before you're wiped. And the way it works is in each, there's loads of terrain, so you have a little bit more terrain than you would in your normal games, and these enemies are hidden in the terrain. Okay, so when you move within effective range, so we'll make it a universal thing, like 15 inches within the terrain piece, you roll on the table, and then that will dictate what's in that building. Okay, so because we throw points out the window, this could make a quite a nice challenge. You know, you can have some really nasty stuff that you're hoping won't appear on the board. Again, you use the once they're on the board, you use the AI system that I mentioned, and yeah, that's basically how it works. You hope for the best that the nasty stuff doesn't come on the board. You flick the amount of damage that you do, and then bug out. Okay. Um, the other idea, and then the last idea I had, which was to speed this up, because obviously you're still playing someone else's turn, so the might feel a bit long-winded, and you kind of gagging to get into your own control of your forces, is to integrate their hits through your dice rolls. Which I mean by this is the simplest method is every time you miss, so instead of rolling for their actions, all you do is you do your shots as normal. Say playing 40k or playing some sort of fantasy games, you do your attacks, and for every miss that you hit, you do is an automatic hit back on you. Okay. If you're doing this and you're using something like Space Marines, or using something that's quite elite, so like if you're on a D6 level and it's like 2s or 3s to hit, inflict a universal -1 to all your dice rolls. Okay, so we just make that a little bit harder and a bit more of an enjoyable challenge for you. Okay, so anyway, that's my rough ideas. Okay, so I'm going to quickly flip to the board and I'll quickly have a more of a visual demonstration. Okay. Okay, this is the idea of this is like a rough showing you of what the AI system will do. Okay, so this is the kill team setup in my living room, and as you can see, I'm going to be using Primaris. These were Knights of Blood. They're going to be repainting the Space Wolf soon versus some Alpha Legion. And as you can see here, I've added these dice. Oh, move that. Not the crane. Anyway, yeah, I've put these down, and these are to mark the AI system. I mean, you can use a Titanicus dice or bolt action dice, something where, or you just write a little marker, a little symbol. Okay, so for this, because he's got the sergeant, because he's got obviously a power fist, makes him pretty formidable in combat. They put these little arrows to designate he's an assault guy, so we know that he will. So say like these guys here, every time it's his turn, he will move the maximum amount of he can. If you can't take a shot off at anyone with the pistol, he will sprint. Okay? So he moves, he's moved towards the nearest enemy and make an attack. The next guy is a front line. I've just done it like this. Don't know, in my head that symbol seemed right, I don't know why. So again, what he will do is he will push up, he will move towards the enemy up to a point when he's in optimal range, so that'd be like say 12, anywhere between 12 to 15 inches, and then he will hold that point. If the enemy pushes closer towards him, he will then make the necessary withdrawing movements to stay within that optimum distance. Okay, so his always action is move towards the nearest enemy, stay within that sweet spot, and lay down fire. And then lastly, we have the defensive guy, represented by Alpha Legion in Heavy Bolter. And I've used I think this is like a repair dice symbol, but it's like you want to say like a shield or something. And again, he will stay put and lay down. I mean, obviously, he's got a Heavy Bolter, which is an anti-infantry weapon, and he will lay down fire on obviously the first infantry target he can see. If he had something like a las cannon, it would be a vehicle, obviously. But if he gets to a point and people have moved out of his way, he will take the movement, the shortest movement to get into another nice field of fire zone. Okay, so that's the idea of the AI system. Okay, next up we've got the enemy into hostile territory idea. So in this game, for instance, in this, because again we're playing on a kill team, everything's got to be scaled down a little bit. If we're playing this on a 6x4, as I said, we'd use like the 15-inch rule to a piece of terrain and whatnot. But say we're going to do this 8 for kill team, and that box there is the LZ. So I've got to cause 100 points of damage onto the enemy and then get out. So this is like I say, my deployment zone. We start on the back edge, and then when it's my turn, okay, we say each one of these pieces of terrain is where enemies can pop out. Okay, so if one of my guys moves to a point, we'll say here, that's within 8 inches of that, I roll a dice, and I've already designated, so on this pull here, 1, 2, 3 is a Chaos Space Marine, 4 is a heavy guy, Havoc, 5 is a Chaos Aspiring Champion. And then a 6, just for a laugh, I've added for a boss fight, a Hellbrute. Okay, and even though it's Kill Team, we'll just use the standard 40k rules, 8 fed rules for him. Okay, so we roll the dice. So I'm here. What's going to pop out on that? Oh, look at that, lovely. So we put, boom, the Dreadnought. Okay, comes into play. He gets when he comes into play, we won't have him having an action straight away because that's just filth. He comes down, and then from the next turn onwards, they get to do something. Okay, so it gives you a bit of time, like say with the Hellbrute or whatever, to wither a bit of fire. What you can also do is add the integrated dice roll system. So we add as if they were broken. So Kill Team would say they're all broken already, so they always suffer a -1 across the board. And say if I shot, and every time I miss, the target gets to have a pop back, which could actually be quite fun, especially with something like a Hellbrute, because you'd then really have to make sure what you're firing at is worth it. You wouldn't be just doing trade like, just think, oh well, for the heck of it, I'm going to fire pistol shot at that because there's a good chance I might miss, and then he's going to take a shot back at me. It's just not worth it. So it's all then more about timing the shots. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. My thoughts and ideas on adapting your current war games into solo games. If you've got any more ideas or you've got some like scenarios or mechanisms that will work, please put them in the comments below or put them on the Win or Lose Facebook group. If you know any other really good solo rule systems, again, comments below, or better yet, on the Win or Lose Facebook group. So thanks for watching, guys, and remember, win or lose, just have fun.